Books are a difficult thing for me to declutter. This is kind of like my Achilles heel. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You don't have to go through your entire house and every single thing you own in order to reap those benefits.
A palace of gold, gold, gold. A palace of gold, gold, gold.
Well, hey everyone, it's Natalie. So glad you stopped by my channel today to hang out with me while I get some decluttering and organization done. We just wrapped up our school year. We're taking a little bit of a summer break from homeschooling, and I'm feeling really motivated to finish the project of organizing and decluttering our books as well as our board games. I talked about this in a previous Messy to Minimal episode, and today we're sort of doing the follow-up to that. If you're new to my channel, Messy to Minimal is the decluttering and organization series that I started here a couple of years ago. Within the first year, we got rid of over 90% of our stuff, and we adopted a more simplified lifestyle, and it's been absolutely wonderful. And I've continued to share that with you guys as we continue to do declutters, because kids grow, they break things, they outgrow clothing, they outgrow board games, as we will see today. And I just want to be an encouragement to you guys that you don't have to take on your entire house. You don't have to do something totally extreme in order to enjoy the benefits of a good decluttering session. So we're gonna have a couple of good decluttering sessions and organization sessions today, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. Give it a thumbs up if you do, and drop this emoji in the comments so that I can come say hello. We're gonna start with books and this little like TV unit area. So let's do that. Okay, if you guys saw my last Messy to Minimal episode, then you'll remember that I did a big declutter in our TV unit. This is actually 2 units put together under our TV. This side we have for media and gaming stuff. And then under here, I set up a little spot to house sort of like baby and toddler toys. I have lots of nieces and nephews, and I like to keep younger baby toys on hand for that. But in here is what I'm really going to be working on. Oh, look at that. And I already have surprises being left for me. A hat, a little Gary frog, and a book already. Well, I guess this will belong here. I'm going to turn this into our master book storage. Don't anticipate that every single book that we have in our house will end up being in here, but this will sort of be like the default spot. I shared in the last video that for me, with my ADHD brain, I like to store things where we actually access and use them, and that works most of the time. There will be, you know, like bedside table books and stuff like that in different spots, or if the kids take a book into their bedroom. But I've noticed with my kids, they don't do a lot of reading in their bedroom. They mostly sit on this couch and read, and we've never stored books in the room where they read them the most. So I think I'm gonna follow my brain and my kids' little brains and try to get this in order over here. So I have a moving box here, which still needs to be unpacked from when we moved almost 9 months ago. And that's one of the moving boxes that I pulled out of my office when in the last episode I decluttered in there. It has been sitting here in the living room for an entire week, and I have not touched it because I wanted to take you guys along for this process. And then I have this little white bin on top of it that has books that I've actually just sort of been gathering up from random places around this house. I am not the only neurodivergent person in this household, but that's not my story to share. Suffice it to say, I could help us all out if I do a little bit of organization and then decluttering along the way. I'm gonna be going through this collection, this box that I haven't opened in 9 months, and if there's stuff in there that my kids simply won't use, that we could pass on to someone else who would enjoy it, then I'll be doing that process as well as we go through this. So let's start here and let's set up some books in this shelf. Acorn bookends. I got them, I think I thrifted them. They're definitely vintage. Maybe I found them on eBay. I got these in our old house last year, and I'm so happy to see them again. Oh, and there's my pitch pipe. This should have gotten packed with my music stuff. It's weird. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Oh, our wedding album. So sweet. 10-year wedding anniversary is in just about 3 weeks, 2 weeks from when this video goes up. And it just, I can't believe it. Oh my gosh. I could sit here and look through our albums for so long. I can't let myself get distracted. One of the motivations for me to complete decluttering and organization projects is that I can then enjoy the fruits of my labors. I can have this all put together and sit down on the couch with my kids and read books together or look through our wedding album. I try my hardest to not let myself get distracted in the moment while I'm going through stuff, because if I let myself, I literally could just spend hours reading through books. Books are a difficult thing for me to declutter. This is kind of like my Achilles heel when it comes to the different categories of stuff around my house. I can declutter clothing with my eyes closed. I do not care about clothing. Books, on the other hand, oh, here's some other music stuff. I guess that's why my pitch pipe was in here. This, I have some vintage sheet music. Oh, it's so sweet. Okay, so I definitely made some progress here. However, I'm a little confused right now because when I had this box out here, I was expecting to find more kids' books. Where is our Brambley Hedge anthology? Where is our treasury of Frog and Toad? I have several books that I'm just not seeing, and I'm wondering if there's like a box at the top of one of my kids' closets or something that has that in there, because this box was mostly my books, which is understandable that I labeled it to be put into my office because I'll probably have a bookshelf in there at some point. As you can see, we have plenty of room to add to this. I know I'm missing something here. Where are the rest of our books? I'll definitely be taking a peek into the kids' closets. I have a feeling I've got some of that stuff in there. I do have some old journals and stuff, like from when I was a kid, a teenager, young adult, that I'm probably going to put in like a keepsake area. It doesn't really belong out here. And then I have this vintage sheet music, this collection of sheet music that I have, which I'm probably just gonna put this over here at the piano. This piano is from the early 1940s. I love it so much. And a lot of this sheet music actually is from the early 1900s, like even earlier than that. Okay, let's venture into, I was just in the boys' closet. I don't think it's in there, but I haven't looked in Haley's closet yet. The kids are playing outside with Weston right now. Actually, they're in the bonus room with the kittens. They spend hours upon hours out there with them, and that's what they're doing right now. Is it that box? Let's see. Look, if this isn't books, I don't know what else would be so heavy. How am I going to get this down? Would you look at that? It says kids books, Haley's books. I think we found it, people. And in my last decluttering video, I said, oh, these are the last moving boxes that we have. Apparently there was one more. Hopefully this is the last one. Okie doke. Okay, so there are some books that will stay in Haley's bedroom because they're kind of also decor. And when you take this top layer off of the books that were in Haley's bedroom, There we go. There are the books that I've been looking for. We have Uncle Arthur's Bible book. That's a vintage one. Frog and Toad. Oh, there's Bramley Hedge. How sweet. I love this book so much. Look at all of these Little House on the Prairie ones. Aw, woo! Deer in the Wood. I was just talking about this one with my kids. So I'm going to just keep those ones that I will keep in Haley's room. She likes those in here. And take the rest out to our little book area. So glad I found this. This is what I was looking for. Just like I have a bin of baby and toddler toys, I am also setting aside some books that my kids have outgrown. They actually still love to play with some baby and toddler toys and read old board books and baby books and stuff like that. But I am going to keep them sort of in a separate spot. I'm going to store them actually with the baby stuff that we have there, just so that they're super easy to access. And then when cousins and friends with their babies come over, we have a spot that's recognizable for them to go back to if they want to pick a book out or whatever for them. It also keeps the older kid books a bit more safe from baby slobber and ripping. Although my kids at almost 8 years old still chew everything, so nothing is really safe in this house. Okay, I'm gonna make some choices as far as board books go, because I actually have duplicates. Oh, look at that, the same one. So I'm going to donate one of them. That one's cute, but I like the classic one better. Just keep the original little blue truck and pass those on. This is actually Haley's first Bible. She got this when she had her little baby dedication at our church, which is kind of like a christening. And I'm gonna put that in her room because this is actually hers. But everything else I think is a nice collection for our little friends. And then I'm noticing up here under our TV, which desperately needs to be wiped down. I need to get an e-cloth out. I keep our Bibles up here and a couple of like theology and Bible study books. But then these things, now that I actually have a book cabinet, these can go into there. And so I have a few categories now of stuff like general groupings. I'm not going in alphabetical order. Style of organizing is pretty loose and macro, and I try to keep it fluid just so that my brain doesn't get overwhelmed. I have a bunch of these little who was books, or what is. So what is the Super Bowl? Who was Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart? Lewis and Clark? Sacagawea? I've got books like that there. I've kind of got our Little House books, my first Little House books here, some I Can Read books here. Here's another category that I've got going on with some seasonal books. So I've got some Christmas books. I have several St. Patrick's Day books, like the story of St. Patrick's Day and the actual historical stuff. And I've got a Cinco de Mayo book and fun stuff like that. And then we have some like family and wedding photo albums and stuff like that. And then over here I have our big books, like our anthologies or treasuries. We have Bramley Hedge, Beatrix Potter, there's the Tales of Winnie the Pooh, Frog and Toad, Uncle Arthur Bible book, and everything seems to be fitting nicely with room to spare. So if I come across books that could use a home here, then I do have the room to expand. And then that makes a spot for our Bibles that we have right here to go there. And then I have a bin going on here of stuff that I'm going to just move on from, stuff that we don't really read anymore, and stuff that I can pass on to a thrift store, friends, a local library, you name it. That's what I've got going on here. Again, I'm not counting really percentages or anything like that of what we declutter out of our house anymore, but it is always gratifying to see a nice tidy pile of stuff to get rid of. So I'm happy with that. I'd love to declutter this bedroom, but that is another project for another time. And I just spotted some books in there that will probably end up going out into this cabinet, but I'm going to save those decisions for when I do a declutter of Haley's bedroom. That's gonna be an upcoming messy to minimal video. I'm gonna go through toys and books and clothing and stuff like that in my kids' bedrooms. For now, I think it's time to move on to my office. I think we're gonna head in there because the board game situation, I need help. Okay, here's the office, much as we left it in the last messy to minimal episode, but the game situation is just not working for me. Okay. Boxes and bins, baskets, special organization items. You guys know that it is not my MO to just go out and buy a bunch of stuff like that. I try to use what I already have or use the original packaging of something, because if it works, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This is broke though. This is one of those situations where a box or a bin or a tote or a basket or something is definitely going to be a better alternative than the dreaded box for kids' board games. I swear every single board game box that we have, the sides are ripped out, which you could tape up the sides, but then the middle would rip out like this. The packaging for games is awful. And in my last video, I asked you guys for suggestions on how you would organize games, or if you've seen anything that other people do, and I got tons of links. The most suggested thing was something from Amazon, which are these oversized zipper bags, which probably would be a good organizational thing if I was someone who liked using bags, but I am not a bag person, especially zippers. I don't know what it is. Something about zipper bags does not work for me and how my brain and how my kids' brains work. So one of you sent me a suggestion. These bins from the Bright Room line at Target. I've got these, and then there's several that are more shallow than this. I have just a couple of these deeper bins. And so I'm gonna transfer things into here. They have lids. So we are going to take every box down and transfer its contents into one of these bins. And I think I'm actually going to cut out the graphics of the boxes, the original boxes, because I think it's fun to keep these graphics. I could use my Cricut and make pretty like uniform labels, but man, hardly anything in my life is Pinterest worthy as it is. And I think this would be more fun for the kids to have like the original stuff. So maybe I'll just tape these on to the lids and the sides and see how that goes. Let's try this out.
Nothing like your smile in the morning, following the linings on your cheeks. 'Cause baby, in your absence life is boring, so I'll never leave. It's easier to love when it's you by my side, shining through the cracks like the first morning light, feeling like a child through the days and the nights, living in your arms as the years go by. It's easier to love, oh, oh. Easier to love, oh, oh.
Okay, this is what we've got going on so far, and already I'm feeling like this is going to be a better alternative. Yes, that was my knee cracking. Like, the kids play Guess Who almost every day, and this box has just, oh my gosh, it has seen better days. This Cubits game that we love, there was this plastic part that was supposed to be kind of like in this window, and that busted out, and so all of these tiny pieces kept falling out. So that's gonna be better. In addition to anything else that has tiny little pieces that can fall out, which is basically every game that we have, except for Twister. But the frustration with Twister is, I mean, can anyone actually fold up the Twister mat to have it fit into the box? I think I will maybe cut the whole top of the box off and stick it to the lid, because there's just something about these 90s kids on that vintage box that warms my heart. And also, like, for this game, Telestrations, I actually had a couple of people comment, why do you have two Telestrations games? It's because this is our favorite game to play with our family during the holidays, or anytime really, and we have so many people that we needed many of these little drawing notebook things that the game comes with to accommodate everyone who wants to play. And this game has dry erase pens and stuff in it, and in a bin like this, it is held much better than in a box like this. Games here in our collection that don't need a bin because it's kind of stored in its own little unit, like these Battleship ones that we have. This Mad Gab box here is doing just fine. We have sort of this wooden games collection that has its own storage thing. This is that little like shoot out game, which I don't know where the pieces to it is, so I have to keep my eyes out for that. And then Operation is too long to fit into one of the bins that I got from Target, so I think I might just have these two things stored together. But I am gonna go through this last bin of things. We have dominoes and little card games, extra like small items and stuff in here, so I have to go through this.
The light in your eyes tells me stories of life in a more perfect place where I wanna stay. It's easier to love when it's you by my side.
Finding all sorts of goodies at the bottom of this bin. Little pieces and tokens and dice and cubes and stuff that belongs to other games. So I'm glad I chose to go through this. And I think I'm going to use one of these deeper bins. I don't need both of them. I'm gonna use this for this stuff. So we have our dominoes, Jenga blocks. See, I was already using different packaging for a lot of the stuff because those boxes that they come in they don't cut it, man. We got charades, some other random card games like Old Maid, Spoons, Crazy Eights, Slapjack, stuff like that. Go Fish, War. That brings me back. This is a really fun game. Spot It. Love this game for kids and adults. Apples to Apples, classic. Uno, even more classic. Chicken, that's a really fun game. And then I keep our catchphrase. Ooh, this is another game we play with friends and family during the holidays. Now it's on to just cutting out the labels for the lids and the sides of these bins so that we can have that sort of nostalgic graphic on there for each of our games. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. And let's just do it like this. There we go. I feel like the time it took me to cut out the labels and stuff from the boxes and tape it all on, I could have just gotten my Cricut out and done that. That would have been easier, but there's something really charming about these original graphics and stuff. Haley, what do you got going on there?
It's a cake and I made it all by myself. I stacked up all those pieces.
That is amazing.
And it's for my mom.
Thank you. That looks like a delicious cake. I love a many layered cake.
Guess what that red is?
What is it?
The red is a hat.
A hat on the cake? Special.
Not a real hat. It's just a frosting hat.
I love it. Thank you very much.
You would eat the whole thing.
Okay.
It's easier to love. Oh, oh. Easier to love. Oh, oh. Easier to love.
Well, this is so much better. These bins do take up more space than the original boxes, but that's also kind of the idea because one of my main complaints about those boxes is that it's nearly impossible to fit everything back in, especially when you have the bigger games like this or the one with the boat, the shark one. This is the era of games that we're in with our kids. There are seasons to things. I get questions all the time. Why are you always decluttering? I could just answer back with, why are my children always growing? In a few years, some of these games may not be a part of our collection anymore because my kids will outgrow them, and then maybe we'll swap something different in, maybe a different system will work for us, but for now, I can see this working really well. If in your situation, in your home, you are tight on space, then maybe those zipper pouches that everyone was suggesting would be a better option than these bins, because you could just sort of put those zipper pouches into a basket and save some space that way. Space really isn't the issue for us, it's more about function for us, and I think this is going to function really, really well. This is the master pile of stuff that we are moving on from. So there's those books that we no longer want. We had a few board games that the last time I was doing decluttering I decided to keep, but this time I'm deciding not to. So Taboo, Trouble, Count Your Chickens, that's one my kids really loved, but they have outgrown it. So we're moving on from that. This is all the packaging and the boxes that I broke down and cut out to put them into their new bins. Well, not decluttering Anna and Elsa down there. Haley was just playing in here with me. But this is a good amount of stuff. And these boxes that are being recycled, this is actually representing one of those sort of swap situations that you see when you're decluttering sometimes. Sometimes you're saying goodbye to things because you swapped something better in to your inventory. We're not always moving toward having less, we're moving toward having function and having simplicity. It was not a simple task for us to try to put those games back in those horrible broken up boxes. This is going to be an easier, simpler, more functional system than the boxes were. And yes, we are getting rid of a few games, so in the end we do have less stuff technically, but that's why I don't really count things anymore. I'm not really keeping track of how much we have and how much we get rid of. It was important for me to do that with the first wave of Messy to Minimal because we had so much stuff when we started out, and we got rid of so much stuff that it was sort of like my nerd side really enjoying seeing, well, how little can we live with? How little can we get down to? And it was so awesome to go through that process. But now we're in maintenance mode. There will be times when our inventory is a little bit more, and there will be times when we need less in our inventory in order to be more simplistic around here and more peaceful in our house. It's going to create so much more peace when it comes time to say, hey kids, let's clean up the games on the floor. They're not going to be like, this is so hard, and freaking out and further ripping the boxes as they go. So just some encouragement to you, if you see videos out there where people are getting rid of piles of stuff, which I have plenty of those videos because I was legitimately getting rid of piles of stuff. That's not some sort of standard that we have to live up to. Decluttering takes on different forms. And that's why I want to continue to share this Messy to Minimal journey with you guys. This was messy before, and now I have minimal packaging going on. So we truly did go messy to minimal, but I don't have to have a stack of stuff that I'm getting rid of taller than I am in order to continue to be on this journey toward that more simple living sort of goal. So I just want to share that encouragement with you guys, but I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you got some realistic decluttering motivation from it. We only tackled 2 projects. It took me all day and it took me a half an hour's worth of a video to share it with you, but don't underestimate the power of doing smaller projects and baby steps in order to reach your goals. You don't have to go through your entire house and every single thing you own in order to reap those benefits of decluttering and organization and simple living. And so if you guys enjoyed today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy my Messy to Minimal videos and you like those before and afters, you like to see real life, then you might also enjoy my day in the life videos. I'm actually going to be piecing in more decluttering content, more simple living and like Messy to Minimal mini segments into my day in the life videos, because a lot of the time my decluttering is these smaller projects, and I would like to just piece it in there a little bit more for you guys. I know you've been requesting that, so I'm gonna give it to you. Thanks so much for spending a little part of your day here with me on my channel, and I'll catch you later.